Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm Jared. I write Ruby code. Been doing it for too long now. I know Ruby very, very well, but seemingly somehow not well enough. As my day job, I run a company where we do Ruby on Rails e-commerce using a platform called Solidus. Tonight, we were solving the advent of code problems yet again. We're on day 5. Yesterday we battled giant squid at bingo, trying to figure out how to cheat in order to both win or lose against a giant squid. And we'll see what task we have ahead of us now. Here we go. Day 5, hydrothermal venture. You come across a field of hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. These vents constantly produce large, opaque clouds, so it would be best to avoid them if possible. They tend to form in lines. The submarine helpfully produces a list of nearby lines of vents, your puzzle input, for you to review. For example, there's a sample. Let's just copy that right now. Each line of vents is given a line segment in the format x1, y1, arrow, x2, y2. Where x1, y1 are the coordinates of one end of the line segment and x2, y2 are the coordinates of the other end. These line segments include points at both ends. Entry like 1, 1, 1, 3 covers the points 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. And entry like 9, 7, 7, 7. Okay, there are, for now, only consider horizontal and vertical lines where either x1 equals x2 or y1 equals y2. And is that the case with all of these? Are we? Yes, yes, yes. No. Okay, so some of them are diagonals. Okay. Sure. What do the 2's mean here? Those overlapping? Must be. In this diagram, the top left corner is 0, 0, and the bottom right corner is 9, 9. Each position is shown as the number of lines which cover that point or dot. If no line covers that point, the top left pair of ones, for example, the top left pair of ones, for example, comes from 2, 2 to 2, 1. The very bottom row is formed by overlapping 0, 9 to 5, 9 and 0, 9 to 2, 9. To avoid the most dangerous areas, you need to determine the number of points where at least 2 lines overlap. In the above example, this is anywhere in the diagram with a 2 or larger, a total of 5 points. Okay. So one of the nice things that I did to prepare for this was that I wrote a little bit of code so that my day 5 part 1 is already set up here as is its spec. I don't have to write them out like I've been doing for every previous stream. So you'll all appreciate that aspect. So from this input, we're expecting it to be 5. So if we run our tests, we now have a failing test. You can see that I have 50 examples. That's because we have one example for every day and every part. So every day, part 1, part 2, 25 days. I've generated them all, so they're just there. They're just sort of samples that test that the solution is nil. So they don't really do anything. That's why they're all passing. My initial thought is that we could store all of the spots that have been touched in a hash where the keys are arrays of length 2 that contain the coordinates, and the values are the number of lines or whatever are touching those what do we call these things again? events. So each time a coordinate gets touched by event, we'll increment the number at it, and then we'll have a solution, hopefully. So I want a solution that looks something like lines that each do line, or sorry, these are vents, called events. So for each event, we'll call event dot coordinates each, and that'll give us an X and a Y, and we'll say floor. Floor is probably a bad name for this, but it's the ocean floor that we're mapping out here, and we'll say coordinate X, Y plus equals 1, and then the solution is floor.keys count, and we're counting the keys where the value is greater than 1. I'll just put greater than equal to 2 since it matches the puzzle, right? Okay. So we have a bunch of pieces. I think we're going to want a floor, and floor is going to be just lazy evaluate this to a hash. Where the default values are 0. Or I guess we can just do that. I think that works. Just be careful with default values that are literals, because the actual value is reused, but I don't think there's any issue with doing that to 0, so that means we don't have to initialize it with any values. We can just set the keys that we care about and look them up. And then we just have to set up the events. So I'm just going to make that an instance variable. Events equals input split on new lines, and we're going to map that to a so there's like event specification, event spec. Excuse me. And then event new from the event spec, and the events can do their thing here. So I'll give them a constructor, and events are going to respond to coordinates. And I'm just going to try and write out all the code and then see where it's broken. All right, so each one of these is going to be one of these lines. So we're going to want to start and end, so we can get the strings start and I can't use end. Finish equals spec, and then we'll split that on the arrow. And then we'll want the start to be we could probably even do this better. We could do this all in one go, I think, because then we can map them. Because then we're going to coordinates, and we'll just do coordinate dot split on the comma and map those into integers. So this is not going to work, but if we put a binding.pry in here, we should at least be able to run specs and see where we get to. So we've got events. That's empty for some reason. Okay. Oh, interesting. One caveat of my issue is that part 2 is using the same solution and the specs are running for it. have to think about that for tomorrow. But if we take a glance at here, start 09, finish 59, looks like we have everything we need. So one thing we need to do is next if vent dot diagonal, because we don't want to operate on ones that look like this one, where the where neither of the coordinates match, because those ones are diagonal, and we haven't been told what to do with diagonal ones yet. So, but that should be easy to figure out. We should be able to do start 0 does not equal finish 0, and start 1 does not equal finish 1. Okay, so I think that should rule out that one. Seems reasonable. And then coordinates, I think so if start 0 is finish 0, that means they have, this is a vertical. Note of that there. Technically this is vertical or diagonal, but we're not handling that yet. So start 0, finish 0. That means we need to start 1 to finish. So we need to loop over the y coordinates, map. And return start same, it's always going to be the same x coordinate but the different y coordinates, and do the opposite for horizontal, get different x coordinates, but use, or sorry, different, yeah, and use the same, do this right? Yes. There we go. Okay. That looks right. Does that work? No. Greater than, equal to for array. I wrote keys instead of values here. So the values are the number of times we've seen things. Cool. In order to stop getting that message, I'm just going to go to day 5 part 2 and define that. That way we're only running this code once. Cool. Interesting. Now that hasn't worked. Is it because we need to do that? No. How do ranges work? Ruby range. Those are inclusive, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, those are inclusive, so that's fine. And it's the triple that's not inclusive. Yeah, okay, that's works the way I thought it did. It's gonna be annoying to print these out at each step. Maybe let's just try and take a look here. So we're at the first vent. This is vent 5.9. Excuse me. Is that right? From 09 to 59 should be those. 09 to 59. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, we got an error here. Right. So we're not handling the case where the start is bigger than the finish. Do Ruby's ranges have a way to handle that for us? So a way to construct them. Doesn't look like there's like a trivial way to construct them. So that we don't have to care about what direction they're going. So I guess we can just arrange them. We can just sort them. So we sort them. Just use the sorted values. Zeros. Could work, that could work. Okay, so that works. Let's remove our binding.pry. And do bin solve day 5 part 1. So there should be lots of them. Cool. All right, that works. Awesome. All right, so let's take a look at part 2. Unfortunately, considering only horizontal and vertical lines doesn't give you the full picture. You need to also consider diagonal lines. Because of the limits of the hydrothermal vent mapping system, the lines in your list will only ever be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal line at exactly 45 degrees. Excellent. In other words, an entry like 1, 1, 3, 3, etc. covers. Yes, excellent. I can work with that. You still need to do the number of points. Okay, so that's fine. So we're doing the same thing. We just are going to consider the horizontal ones. I'm going to do that by putting exclude here. And then so we can open day 5 part 2 spec. We now know that it's going to be expected to be 12. I might need my sample input still. And for day 5, part 2, that exclude method is just going to return false. So now it's gonna like do something wrong, probably. Oh yeah, we gotta get rid of that. Cool. That's expected because our this doesn't handle horizontal. So let's augment this. Change these to 1s. And then else, we know this thing is diagonal. So we're gonna have to iterate over all the coordinates. So we just do the same as we did. We're basically just combining what we did for, I think this works. So we map over our xstart. And this time we change those to y's and x, y. So now we basically have just combined the logic for how we figured out the vertical and horizontal components. I think. Okay, well, we got the wrong answer. I really should have made a way to print it out. But we'll step through it again. Just run this back. Huh. So the second vent. Oh, I didn't notice that was. Okay, is that? No, so this isn't right. Okay, I can see why this isn't right. That's funny. So this isn't working correctly because the logic I wrote is trying, will draw a line from 0, 0 to 8, 8. So I can't just sort both sides. That doesn't work. I need to be smarter than that. Is there like a Ruby number? Is there something here? Oh, this is range. So we've got up to and down to, but what about just like 2? Not looking like we have anything. Okay, well we can work with that. We can do something clever. In fact, we can probably make this whole thing nicer. Because what we really want is a range from A to B. So if A is greater than B, else then we want A down to B, otherwise we want B down to A. Seems reasonable. Seems like it could work. Oh no, we still got the same wrong answer. I wrote down 2 both times. It is, I wanted A. I just replicated my bug in a new way. Very cool. I keep forgetting to remove this pry. Well, we're still getting the wrong answer, but well, fine. What pry is going to come in useful now then? So that vent produces right coordinates. Still, this one is the one that is now going. What is it doing? Oh, I'm not flattening it. Cool. That's funny. That's not the right thing either, though. I need to zip them together, don't I? That's funny. Okay. Well, at least it's easy to see what the problem is. How about this time? Yes. Okay, there we go. And if we unpost this back, oh, I still haven't removed the pry. We have to remove that. But we are passing. So let's just solve part 2. Amazing. Cool. All right. Under half an hour. Pretty good time. Thanks everyone for coming out. I will be back again tomorrow night to attempt day 6. Have a lovely evening. I'll go play some hockey. Cheers. Bye.